we have scientific reasons to think that the basic theses of the economist's warning are still valid and may prove right in the future. If we accept these theses, then two logical conclusions must be drawn. First, a plan B for Europe will become necessary sooner or later for objective reasons. To have a plan B will not be a minoritarian political option. It will become a historical necessity. Second, there is not only one type of a plan B. The history of past currency crises shows that the options for exit from a monetary regime are various and very different from one another, and that each has different implications for the different social groups involved. Consider, for example, the plan B suggested by the German Minister of Finance Wolfgang Schäuble for Greece. For now, Schäuble's Grexit option is the only plan B explicitly cited in the official documents of the Eurogroup. Schäuble's proposal can be described as the perfect plan B for creditors. The reason is simple. Redenomination of the debt is what really scares the creditors. Schäuble's plan would have allowed Greece to abandon the euro, but was designed to prevent the risk of Greece redenominate its debt into devalued drachmas. Schäuble knew that if Greece had abandoned the euro, it would have found itself with an excess of imports over exports to be covered with fresh money. Schäuble therefore offered the Greek government financial support and maybe even a debt restructuring in order to cover the external deficit of Greece. However, Schäuble specified that this support would be offered only on condition that Greek debt remained in euros and was not redenominated in devalued drachmas after exit. Schäuble's plan B, in some ways, echoes the crucial concept of the leopard, a famous Italian novel. Everything is to be changed, even the currency, in order to keep everything the same as regards the balance of power between creditors and debtors and among social classes. This kind of plan B would have been catastrophic. The worst of keeping the euro combined with the worst of abandoning it. We must say it clearly. Given the current balance of powers in Europe, and given the enormous delay of left-wing forces on this issue, in the case of precipitation of the Eurozone, Schäuble's proposal may be the only plan B on the table of future negotiation, not only for Greece, but also for other countries. Fortunately, there are other solutions too. Consider, for example, the plan B that consists in the possibility of returning to a sort of European monetary system, that is the system based on adjustable exchange rates between national currencies that was in force substantially until 1992. This return to the old system has been put forward on various sides. Oscar Lafontaine, as you know, is one of its main advocates. One of the merits of Lafontaine's proposal, in my view, is the fact of making it clear that leaving exchange rates to the mercy of market forces would not be the best solution, not at all. In my opinion, however, Lafontaine's proposal is not sufficient by itself. It needs to be supplemented. The idea of a return to the old European monetary system can be seen as an initial hypothesis, but not as an endpoint of our discussion. The limitation of a return to the European monetary system lies in the fact that it overlooks a problem that has been broadly examined in the economic literature. In a nutshell, this problem refers to the difficulty that any country has in securing margins of autonomy for national economic policies in conditions of perfect international mobility of capital and even goods. For example, in a situation of perfect mobility of capital, a country that tends to build up current account deficits cannot pursue economic policies aimed at increasing employment. The fact that exchange rates were adjustable in the European monetary system was not sufficient to solve this problem. The economic policies of countries with a tendency to accumulate an external deficit were strongly influenced by the economic policies of Germany, the leading country which tended to accumulate an external surplus. Today, for example, a return to the European monetary system as such would not be sufficient to solve the enormous imbalances fueled by relative wage deflation in Germany, where between 1999 and 2013 monetary wages grew just half compared to the Eurozone average, just half. This is why I think that Lafontaine's proposal to discuss a return to the European monetary system is welcomed. But in order to make this proposal consistent, it is necessary to counter the hegemony of the countries which create deflation in order to accumulate external surpluses. Economists know that there is just one solution for this problem. Some sort of sanctions must be imposed on countries that use relative deflation to increase their external surplus. Well, in a Plan A perspective of reforming the European Union treaties, monetary sanctions similar to those currently imposed on countries with excessive government deficits could be considered. The problem is that a Plan B does not appear very realistic, at least in this historical period. Then, in a more realistic Plan B perspective, in which the treaties are not revised and the Eurozone tends to deflagrate, what sort of sanctions should be imposed on countries which adopt deflationary policies to increase their external surplus? Well, there is only one logical answer, only one. It must be possible to introduce limits on international mobility of capitals and perhaps even goods when necessary to and from such countries. Please note that this kind of solution has authoritative points of reference, even in the articles of agreement of the International Monetary Fund. Don't forget that. I call this proposal European Monetary Balanced Agreement, but the name is not really important. What really matters is that the solution of capital controls against deflationary pressures can be applied immediately and independently by an individual country, just as it can be extended to joint agreements between countries. This is one of the reasons to consider such a solution politically realistic.
For I strongly believe that Europe would be better off without the euro. The alternative, in my view, is clear. We need a system that protects the exchange rates of the national currencies against erratic financial markets, but that also allows for nominal de- and revaluation if inflation synchronization does not occur. We had such a system between 1979 and 1998, the European Monetary System, EMS. No one liked it, especially not in this country here, France. No one liked it. Every EMS member had excellent reasons to dislike it. Devaluations were just as unpopular as revaluations. Yeah, so it was not a perfect system, not at all. But compared to the absolute disaster that the euro has created, yeah, and with respect to its to the ability of the system to limit transnational economic imbalances, the EMS was an incredibly successful system. Yeah, so wir waren schon mal weiter, as I would say in German. And I mean, of course, we have no reason to precisely copy what we had between 1979 and 1998. So Emiliano's brilliant intervention is absolutely right. Let us think what we have to add to the old EMS model. And if I may ask you, Emiliano, the only thing I was wondering about, isn't your proposal a bit, don't know, complicated? Why not simply impose revaluations on those who deflate relative to their neighbors? Yeah, I mean, that's precisely the good thing about the EMS, that we will be able to do that, yeah? And I think that, well, countries that conduct mercantilist economic policies will then soon learn that it just doesn't make sense. Yeah, I conclude, dear friends, dear colleagues, when we created the euro, it all sounded so plausible, yeah? And as a young man, as a young student in Heidelberg in Germany, I was enthusiastic about the euro because I simply perceived it as a progress in European integration. And now I have understood that I was completely wrong. Today, I think we have to be honest to ourselves and to understand that those who created the euro made a huge historical mistake.
Merci. Emiliano Brancaccio, juste un mot.
Just a further word.
I think that Martin should make just one step towards us, just one, in the sense that the European monetary system is not enough. The European monetary system was destroyed in 1992 by speculative attacks because of international capital mobility. You should, and I hope La Fontaine should, accept the idea to speak about a new system in which there are capital controls. Okay? If you agree with this idea, I think that we have some chance. Okay?
Merci. Merci à nos intervenants.
Thank you all very kindly. Thank you all for joining us.
Nous restons dans